Hey guys, what is up? And Shadowlands back for another video. This is another one of my super not intellectual at all commentaries that I wanted to do. It's just kind of my own thinking as I think through logically about things. And this is something that actually got sparked, the idea that kind of got into me as I was playing a video game. It's one of my very favorite ones of all time. Some of you guys have heard of the Final Fantasy series. Well, there's two spin-off series. There's actually technically three, but one of them only had one game in it, so I'm not going to even mention it. But there was the Crystal Chronicles series, which started on the GameCube and it had a couple of DS releases and so on. And it was never really that popular, but it was a lot of fun, to be honest. But there was another series called Tactics. There was the original one, Tactics, and then there was a remake, War of the Lions. And that's the one I'm talking about. There's a couple of other games in that series, but the point is, there was one line that was said by a character who's pretty much popular throughout the entire game by pretty much everyone. He says that everyone plays a role no matter how important, or even if they even realize that they play a role, no matter how small, everyone plays a role. And I wanted to point that out. So basically, a role is the ability to consciously make decisions. That's also talked about in literature as free will, and a lot of times, whether it's in science fiction films or like space age films, people talk about how humans are the only beings to have free will. And I do want to touch onto that a little bit, but not in this video. I will be getting to that in a little bit. But the whole point of a specific role is that it's based on decisions that an individual makes, that a single person makes. And therefore, no two people, no matter how alike they are, even if they were, unless they were the exact same person, which isn't really possible, no two people, no matter how alike they are, can play the same role, even if they make the exact same conscious decisions throughout their entire lives. And that reinforces the concept that you guys have been told all of your lives, that each of you are special. Each of you are different. Well, it's very, very true. Some of you are more special than others, but let's just say everyone's special and everyone plays a very unique and special role. And it just reinforces that concept. Everyone's unique. Everyone's a different person. I'm not Arctic Dropshot. I'm not UCD. And I'm not Sniff. But you know what? None of them are me. And that's part of the reason you guys watch my videos over there sometimes. That's why sometimes I know there's got to be at least one or two of you guys that wake up in the morning and go to my channel before you go to any of theirs. And I know there's some of you that do that because I actually got PM'd that earlier today, and that's the only reason I'm even bringing it up. I was planning on making this commentary and didn't even, I hadn't thought of that, and then I read that PM and I was like, oh, maybe I'll include that in this video. But so think about it this way. If you look at the picture I've got in the middle of this piece of paper, it says decision. So think of some decision. And you can express this as something as simple as a Boolean. Like, a Boolean is just a true or false. It's any statement that can be proven true or false. It's a programming term most of the time, but that's what a Boolean is. So think about making a decision. It can be true or false. And each one of those is going to lead to a completely different timeline. And this can be as simple of a stupid decision as, do I want to put mayonnaise on my sandwich today or not? I don't know. It can be something as stupid as that. And then the next decision you make, you've already made two timelines by deciding whether or not to put mayonnaise on your sandwich. So you've already made two timelines for yourself. Two timelines for the rest of the universe. A simple decision like that changes, literally, you can make two separate timelines. And no matter what else is the same about those two timelines, that one decision is different, therefore they are two different timelines. You choosing to breathe right now as you watch this video, you choosing to watch this video changes everything. It means that some other timeline, you didn't watch this video, you're not subscribed to my channel as you should be, and yeah, basically. But then if you look at the step down below that, if you say true again, let's say that's still part of timeline number one. It's not another timeline now because you still had to make that decision at your point in time. So the timeline on the left where you say true for a second time, that's still timeline number one. But if you say false, that's now timeline number three, because if you remember you said false the first time, that was timeline two. So now if you look at the right side of that branch where you said false the first time, if you say true then, you're now making timeline number two, not number 3 or 4 or 5. That's still timeline 2. But then if you look on the far right side, you then say false after saying true. And this is, just think of it like a family tree. Things keep going down, and technically a family tree is a section of decisions too, but I'm not going to go into that. But a whole point is, you make different timelines for every tiny individual decision you make. And the thing is, because you're making the decision to breathe, every breath you take is a decision, even if it's an unconscious one. It's the fact that you do that every single moment is a decision in itself by every person on the planet, by every living thing, whether it's conscious or not. And therefore, no two timelines can be the same, because one moment throughout both timelines has to be different. That can't change. And if you just want me to simplify this down, like you're saying, Shadow, what the fuck are you talking about? That's what I'm saying to myself as I'm reading this. But the whole point is, It's the same way that like dating sim type games work, where you make decisions to decide who your girlfriend or wife's going to be at the end of the game. No two people are going to make the same decision, at least we'd hope not, are going to make the same decision every time along an infinite timeline, if that was even possible, if time could be infinite. And I talked about the whole thing about time not being possible, really, and what time really is in my last video, but you guys get the whole point. You get what I'm saying. If you had a timeline that went on forever, any one individual timeline, if no two people from that timeline will ever make every single decision the exact same, because they can't even be presented with the same number of decisions, the exact same decisions as it would be. And because of that, everyone is only presented with a limited number of possibilities in life, and that's back to my human potential video that I made when I first did this, where I first started this whole kind of mini-series on accident. So if you guys want to hear more about human potential, go back and watch that video. And that's basically where I'm going to end this little commentary, guys. So thank you guys for watching this video. I was about to say review, but this is definitely not a review. But thank you guys for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe. If you enjoy watching this, give me some comments. I want to hear your feedback. This is really, really deep stuff that I like thinking about. I enjoy thinking about this kind of stuff. So if you guys have comments, I definitely want to read them. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys. Shadowlance out.